Welcome, everyone. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here for this explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to truly grasp the spiritual and philosophical depths of Brej, you are in the exact right place. Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're exploring a deeply devotional yet highly analytical framework of Vrindavan. We aren't just skimming through historical stories, we're unpacking the underlying philosophy that makes the divine pastimes of Radha and Krishna so incredibly captivating.
Now look at this profound saying. A true Brajwasi is not someone who lives in Braj, but someone who keeps Braj in their heart. Whether you're watching this from a bustling city half a world away, or just sitting in the quiet of your own living room, this really is for you. A true Brajwasi, a genuine resident of Braj, isn't defined by their physical zip code. According to the profound teachings we're exploring today, holding this philosophy, keeping this divine land right in your consciousness, is actually what makes you a true resident of Vrindavan. It's a state of mind, it's a state of heart.
Section 1, the four gurus of Vrindavan, taking shelter before darshan. To truly enter Vrindavan, we have to grasp a foundational philosophical concept called the Chaturvyu. A lot of visitors completely miss the true essence of Vrindavan because they don't seek out these four gurus first.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down that Chaturyavu, the fourfold manifestation of service. We have the sacred dust, the groves, the devoted residents, and the Yamuna River. People often rush straight to the temples to see the deities, kind of treating the sacred land like a tourist spot for selfies. But the philosophy insists you literally cannot grasp the divine vision, the darshan, unless you first take shelter in these four foundational gurus, and it reframes nature and humanity into pure devotion. The texts tell us that the trees in these groves don't just exist for themselves. The second they sense Radha and Krishna approaching, they instantly expend a year's worth of energy to ripen their fruits and burst into magnificent fragrances, all just to serve the divine. Even the Rusik Jan, the deeply feeling devotees, don't use their joy or artistic expression for worldly applause. Their bliss is solely generated for divine pleasure. Understanding this selfless ecosystem is step number 1.
Section 2, the sweet cow milking Leela. Krishna's playful mischief. So let's transition from pure philosophy to a really vivid mini-narrative that brings all of this to life. Imagine the incredibly delicate, supremely graceful Radha. Her mother has just handed her a household chore. She needs to go to the cowshed and milk the cows.
Well, the cow, sensing Radha's incredibly delicate nature, realizes this is hard labor and literally runs away. As Radha and her friends are frantically chasing this runaway cow through the groves, guess who steps right in to intercept? Krishna. He catches the cow with absolute confidence. When Radha explains her mother sent her to milk it, Krishna playfully mocks her skills. He proudly declares, "Hey, I'm not just a cowherd in this life. I've been doing this across countless lifetimes." And to show off his unmatched expertise, he drops dramatically to one knee, holding a gleaming golden bucket, ready to show everyone exactly how it's done.
But here is where the majestic meets the absolutely comical. Krishna starts milking, but his eyes are entirely fixed on Radha. She's so stunning that he gets completely hopelessly distracted. He's squeezing the milk, but instead of hitting the golden bucket, the stream of milk is spraying all over the ground. Radha and her friends are covering their mouths, trying so hard not to laugh. And then Radha starts strictly scolding him for wasting all the milk. And Krishna, he stubbornly refuses to hand over the golden bucket. He literally makes Radha beg and plead with him until he finally relents. It's just a beautiful, playful domestic dispute.
Section 3, Shriji's internalized love. The depths of untarnished prem. So the crucial point is that we have to look beneath the surface of that playful bickering and shift into profound emotion. What is Raja truly feeling when Krishna eventually has to leave? It's super easy for a casual observer to just see a young couple fighting over spilled milk. On the outside, she feigns anger. She scolds him, she argues, but internally, the reality is absolutely staggering. When she is alone with her friends, she confesses that 2 eyes are simply not enough to take in Krishna's infinite beauty. In this stunning philosophical leap, she declares a desire to become the creator of the universe, to become Brahma himself, just so she can forge a new human body for herself covered in millions of unblinking eyes and every single pore, purely to constantly gaze at him without missing a single second. This entire concept is defined in the texts as untarnished prem, or internalized love. It's a profound devotion where that external, feigned anger is actually a deliberate mask. Why the mask? Well, her internal love is so overwhelming that if she were to just look at Krishna directly for more than a second, her eyes would well up with tears, and she knows for a fact that if Krishna sees her crying, it would ruin his playful joy.
She literally avoids looking at him for too long, feigning annoyance, purely to protect his happiness from the sheer, overwhelming weight of her own tear-filled devotion.
Section 4, Shyam Sundar in yogi disguise, another excuse to see her. Now, let's bring the energy right back up, because this longing isn't one-sided. Krishna is desperate to see Radha, but he needs an excuse to enter her palace in Barsana without causing a massive stir. So he orchestrates this highly theatrical disguise as an ancient yogi. Suddenly, this mystical yogi arrives in Barsana, covered in ash, carrying a musical horn. His friend, the incredibly witty Madhumangal, acts as his hype man. Madhumangal goes up to all the girls and says, "Look at our master. He's 120 years old, but his intense meditation in the Himalayas has made him look like a youthful teenager." The disguise is so spot on and the hype is so convincing that the Sakis, Radha's friends, actually bring Radha out. They ask this mysterious yogi to read her palm and predict her future life partner.
So the yogi, who is obviously Krishna, examines her palm very, very seriously. He looks up and tells the girls her perfect match is someone who looks absolutely perfect standing right beside her. And before anyone can even process what that means, the yogi swiftly and cheekily slides right next to Radha, throwing his arm intimately over her shoulder to demonstrate. You can just imagine the sheer comedic shock of Radha's friends. They instantly realize they've been tricked and they grab their sticks, ready to chase this bold intruder right out of the courtyard.
And this brilliantly illustrates the lengths Krishna will go to. Just as the friends charge at him, the yogi blows a handful of magical Malayagiri sandalwood dust right into the air. This is dust created from the sheer fiery heat of his longing. It acts like a mystical hypnotism. The angry friends are instantly frozen in place, totally mesmerized. And with all the chaos suddenly paused, Krishna gets exactly what he came for: a few uninterrupted, peaceful moments to simply gaze at his beloved Radha.
Section 5, Vrindavan's 7 Treasures, the Saptanidhi. Okay, let's ground these energetic, mystical stories back into physical reality by introducing the 7 foundational deities that anchor these divine pastimes in Vrindavan today.
Let's move to and see how this builds a tangible bridge to the present. We've explored the philosophy and the deeply emotional pastimes, but this historical map of devotion shows us where they live right now. These are the Saptanidhi, the 7 foundational deities. You have Govindadev, Madan Mohan, Gopinath, Radha Raman, Radha Vallabh, Yugal Kishore, and Banka Bihari. And they were manifested by 7 great saints, the Goswami and Acharyas listed right alongside them, from Rup Goswami all the way to Swami Haridas. But here's the really incredible part. The source material makes a striking ultimate claim. While these saints established the worship, it was Radha herself, through her divine will and her absolute desire to share Krishna's beauty with the world, who truly created and manifested every single one of these forms. They are the physical manifestations of that internalized love we talked about earlier.
Which brings us right back to where we started. We've seen how the trees serve, how a spilled bucket of milk hides an ocean of tears, and how a playful yogi's trickery reveals the deepest divine longing. The physical temples house this history, for sure, but the essence is purely internal. So I want to leave you with this provocative question, looping back to our very first quote. Is Vrindavan in your heart today? Because if you can carry the depth, the selfless love, and the joy of these stories within you, you are already there. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.